Have you ever wondered what's the history of pizza? Well, today we're going to take a slice at a time and find out. I am your host. And let's start our pizza journey all the way back to the beginning. Before it was an Italian-American staple, and before it was associated with cheap eats and late-night bar food, pizza actually started out in ancient Greece. Yup, the Greeks were the first ones to bake flatbreads covered in herbs and spices that closely resemble modern-day pizzas. They called their creation plakis. Plakis was usually served during celebrations and special occasions, and the recipe was so popular that it spread throughout the Roman Empire. It eventually made its way to Egypt, where they started adding cheese on top of the flatbread. Then it took another twist when it arrived in India, where it was served with curry. In fact, there is evidence to suggest that Indian flatbreads like roti and paratha are some of the earliest known pizza substitutes. But the closest thing to pizza actually came in 963 AD, when a flatbread called focaccia was introduced in Italy. This savory bread was flavored with ingredients like rosemary and salt, and even sometimes topped with cheese or meats. Focaccia was enjoyed by peasants and quickly became one of the most popular foods among the poor. The word pizza actually originated from the Latin word for flatbread, which was probably used because early pizzas did look like focaccia. Also, this type of pizza wasn't even round. It was more of a triangle shape. The ingredients for pizza started to come together around the 16th century in Naples, where tomatoes had become a common food item, and people started adding them to their focaccia. Pizza really became a street food there. The toppings were simple: mozzarella, salami, basil, garlic, and of course, tomato. Back then, though, it didn't have a name. These pizzas were referred to as Neapolitan flatbreads. That all changed in 1861 when King Victor Emmanuel III of Italy visited a popular pizza shop. He loved his pizza so much that he gave it a royal seal of approval and renamed it pizza. Soon after, pizza shops started popping up all over Italy. Of course, this was before the days of delivery, so you still had to go to the shop to pick up your slice. People loved it so much that it soon became the #1 dish in Italy. In 1889, the first pizzeria opened outside of Italy in the US. One of the biggest reasons for pizza's popularity in America was because it was considered a cheaper alternative to meat. During World War II, US soldiers got a taste of pizza while overseas and fell in love with it. So when they returned home, they brought their love for pizza with them. Pizza remained a relatively regional specialty until 1958, when the first national pizza chain was founded by brothers Dan and Frank Carney. Today, there are well over 70,000 pizzerias in the United States alone. Now that we know how it started, let's talk about the biggest pizza that's ever been made. The largest pizza ever recorded was made in Rome in 2012 to celebrate the opening of a new shopping mall. The enormous pizza was almost 10 feet wide and weighed a whopping 66 pounds. This massive pie was covered in fresh ingredients, including mozzarella, salami, and basil, and took 80 people over 24 hours to make. That's one big pizza. But now, let's talk about the smallest pizza. You wouldn't believe this, but a pizza can actually be as small as a thimble. Believe it or not, in the town of Vigevano in northern Italy, there's an annual competition held where contestants try to make the tiniest pizza possible. The record for the smallest pizza is 0.3 inches, or just under half a centimeter. Now that's definitely one way to make your pizza as unique as possible. When you think of pizza, you usually imagine a cheesy, saucy, pepperoni-covered delight. But have you ever heard of a dessert pizza? While sweet pizzas are nothing new, one particular pizza has been gaining popularity lately. We're talking about the unicorn pizza. This pizza was invented by celebrity chef Rachel Ray and is covered in rainbow-colored ingredients from the dough to the sauce. Many people describe the taste of this pizza as being similar to a fruit pizza. If you're feeling adventurous enough to try it, you can purchase a DIY kit online, so you can make your own magical pizza. You may also wonder how many pizzas are sold every single year. According to the International Pizza Expo, Americans eat nearly 3 billion slices of pizza each year. There's no doubt that America's favorite pizza topping is pepperoni. More than 80% of us consumers choose pepperoni when ordering a pizza. Pepperoni pizza sales account for nearly half of all pizza sales in the United States. But where does the best pizza in the world come from? According to a survey conducted by Taste Atlas, a website that rates food based on expert and user reviews, the best pizza comes from Italy, of course. The highest rated pizza in the world is the Star of Naples. With an overall rating of 4, 6 out of 5 points, this pizza uses traditional ingredients like San Marzano tomatoes, mozzarella di bufala, and salami. Another highly rated pizza is the Detroit style. This pizza has a thick, substantial crust that's slightly chewy and very crispy. Because the cheese is put on before the sauce, the result is a cheese-covered pizza that's deep-fried in its own juices. And don't forget about the signature brick oven pizzas. These pizzas have a golden-hued, extra crispy crust and a delicious house-made tomato sauce on top. But where does the worst pizza in the world come from? Drumroll, please. It's Canada. Canada seems to be the only country that makes consistently bad pizza. Canadian pizza has an extremely thick crust that's often soggy and greasy. And instead of using fresh ingredients, Canadian pizza tends to use processed meats and low-quality cheeses. Also, the sauce isn't great either. Instead of a rich house-made sauce, most Canadian pizzas are covered in a bland ketchup. It's no surprise that Canada has its own international pizza chain that specializes in bad pizza. Its name is Pizza Pizza. Who knows why they chose such a stupid name for a pizza place, especially when they're making terrible pizza. There are a lot of pizza substitutes out there. Some of them are pretty close to actual pizza, and most of them aren't anything like what we would consider pizza. The most famous pizza substitute is, of course, the Chicago deep dish pizza. Yes. This pizza is super thick and loaded with loads of fresh ingredients. Chicago deep dish pizza is so filling that it's often considered a meal in itself. Then there's California-style pizza. California-style pizza is usually super thin, with a crispy crust and creative toppings. Some popular California-style pizzas include goat cheese and beet, roasted vegetable, pesto chicken, and smoked salmon. You can't forget about the Hawaiian pizza, which is actually a Canadian invention. That's right, Canada did invent something good. Hawaiian pizza is covered in ham and pineapple, and is a lot sweeter than other types of pizzas. The most popular pizza substitute outside of the United States is, of course, the Indian naan pizza. Naan pizzas can be found all over the world and are usually covered in curry sauces and spices. Some naan pizzas are even topped with goat cheese and salsa. So what will the pizza of the future taste like? Who knows? But one thing's for sure, it'll probably be delivered by drone. Companies are already working on ways to deliver pizza faster using drones. In fact, Domino's has already partnered with a drone delivery company to test out drone delivery in New Zealand. What do you think the pizza of the future will taste like? Let us know in the comments below. If you want to learn more about pizza, check out these videos.